Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I'm just going to sit there and say this right off the bat. I feel like Trina got the short end of the stick in this episode because I swear, if she was not in this episode, nothing like her involvement in this episode didn't matter at all, right? Like she talked to Ava, and it wasn't really anything important because Ava eventually wound up talking to Cody. And then she was pretty much just a messenger for Jocelyn when it came towards Emma as far as leaving Dalton alone because, if she has a bad feeling about him, it's definitely something worth taking note of. But other than that, I, and I wanted to sit there and start off with talking about her because I felt like if I didn't bring her up in the beginning, I was going to completely miss her. I really was. You know what? We'll start off with yeah, I guess we'll start off with Sitwell first. We'll start off with Sitwell because here's the thing. Lucy is a dingbat, as you know. And at some point when Lucy gets there's a meeting with Lucy and Jordan. And they talk about deception because um she wants to sit there and give him a progress report. Now, Jordan, which I totally forgot about until today, that she was undercover, was telling Laura so far she ain't got ish on Sitwell. And she's like, I'm going to have to find a way to prove my loyalty to him to get him to trust me if I need to get any sort of incriminating evidence against him. And I'm like, you've been doing, I felt like she's been undercover for about 2 months. You just now thought about that? Like, even in the beginning, when she's sitting there talking about her work with Sitwell, she seems like she's enjoying it. She's getting paid a lot of money. The work is very challenging. It keeps her on her feet. And I'm like, oh, but you are going undercover, right? Because it sounds like you're kind of enjoying this job, like money wise and challenging wise. Did you forget that you were undercover? Because like she just thought of this now, and I'm like, okay, yeah. She says that she needs to um, do something, get something on him, get him to talk, even if it's a little bit of a tiny crime, just to, let him know that she's not going to sit there and run and start tattletaling about, anything that's somewhat, illegal, whatever. So anyway, she sits in this meeting and they talk about deception, and Lucy talks about how, um, they decided not to go to the cops about Sonny's dirty money, right? And they had a vote and everything like that, and they pretty much just kind of voted it was a bad idea. And Sitwell was like, okay, so I'm just kind of curious, who voted to, turn the company into the cops or whatever. And Lucy at that point should have been like, well, I don't really feel comfortable listening to this saying. I don't really feel comfortable about giving the votes. It's just bottom line is that we just decided that we weren't going to say anything, right? Like, just why would you do that for? Never mind the fact that you heard this man's history. You still decided to do business with him anyway because all you cared about was a paycheck. But and it was more than a paycheck. She saw dollar signs. But anyway, she decides to sit there and say, well, everyone pretty much was like on board. We're not saying anything except for Maxie. Maxie was the only one that was going to practically rat us out, wanted to rat us out to the cops. And her dad is the commissioner or whatever. So I mean, I understand, but I don't think she's going to say anything. You just hold. By all accounts, someone that Sasha and everyone seemed like they was kind of iffy about doing business with because of his shady illegal crimes and kidnapping Lucky, that maybe Maxie Jones won't sit there and tell the cops. Like, what the? But then I'm just like, oh, it's Lucy. Of course you would do something like that. So you got that. And of course, you talk about Marcos and everything like that. And, she's like, well, maybe he's doing that illegal stuff. I don't know. I don't sit in on these meetings. Now, the meeting that I actually found really interesting was the Anna meeting. So Anna, is not there talking about the dog again with Gio and Emma while they're arguing about who's gonna sit there and break into the lab. And she's like, once again, this dog is not there barking. We got a no dog policy on our place, and if the neighbors start hearing and complaining, we gonna get kicked out. Later on, the Karen known as Marble comes in, which by the way, I feel like Karens are just like among the worst type of people. Among, not the worst, but among the worst type. Um, and so yeah, at some point she has a sitting meeting with Laura talking about just giving updates on the Charlie's fire and the Marcos the Marcos kidnapping. And of course, it goes nowhere because, Anna's like, there's what we know and there's what we can prove. I mean, there's what we can speculate and then there's what we can prove. And the reason why I find this meeting so funny is that technically both of them are compromised. See, Laura doesn't want to sit there and give up her friendship with Sonny, the local mobster, and Anna doesn't want to sit there and give up her friendship with the local enforcer. So when they're sitting there talking about business and what we could prove and how to improve the city, it's like you two are probably the least people that are qualified to even have this conversation. But okay, y'all gonna do that, and I'm gonna sit there and laugh my ass off because this is just so out of pocket for so many reasons. Um, and of course, like I said, Marble the Karen comes in and, she plays the recording of the dog and everything. And, Laura at that point is like, you're going to have to sit there and find a dog another home. And I put that on Emma because Emma knew about the no dog policy. Okay. It's not like she couldn't have sat there and stashed them at the quarter maze until she could have found some place or whatever to take the dog or whatever. Right. But, Emma being Emma, she's all okay, I'm not even gonna get into a rant about that, but so while they're sitting there planning this whole who's gonna sit there and break in, after Anna comes over and talks to them, she talks to Felicia. She already kind of figured out that the lecture is probably going to be a cover, that Emma's going to sit there and try to break into her lab. So she calls the fire chief and is like, I need you to do me a favor. And so when Emma is not there trying to find out about the time of the lecture, apparently the something is not up to code or whatever. And Emma's like, yeah, most likely my grandmother did it to try to stop me. So this time I'm just gonna sit there and this time I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna make my opportunity. So now she's just gonna make it a lot worse. Here's my thing. I get that she's about protecting animals, animal rights. I get that. I'm 100% with it. How she's choosing to go about it, though, that's my issue. See, I did a video a couple months back I think it's called like when protesting goes wrong. And I feel like the type of woman that Emma is, fits that bill to a T when you watch that video. If you didn't watch it, definitely watch it. Um, but yeah, I can totally see Emma and one of those people. At some point, I'm gonna do a part two of that video. Um, Drew, what is Drew doing? Oh yeah, Drew's not there making is making stupid moves. So he goes to Sitwar. He's like, "Hey, listen, I want you to give me info on Sunny, and if you don't do it, I'm gonna make your life a living hell." And Sitwar's like, "I'm sorry, are you threatening me?" Because at first he was like, "Hey, listen, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to get involved with that." And Drew's like, "No, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you." Sitwar's like, "I'm sorry, you threatening me?" Like, oh, okay, Drew. I was like, bro, listen, I get that he's on American soil and he's going to sit there and work a little bit harder to take you out, but do not sit there and think that he will not try to take your ass out. So he does that. He goes to Martin. He's like, I need you to sit there and try to make Michael look like he's a bad parent. He's the bad parent and everything like that. And Martin's pretty much like, bro, I'm not a miracle worker. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, yo, listen, Willow's gonna have to sit there and really calm the f down. She had a meltdown after she, lost her kids and stuff like that. Like pretty much she's like, I can only do so much. And trying to make Michael look bad, it's not gonna work. It's just going to backfire. And he feels exactly what most people feel. I get it. You want to sit there and try to find a way to win her back, but this is not the way to go about it. And of course, once again, Martin, after talking to Stella, was able to get some more sessions, some more PT and stuff like that. When he comes there, he's late. He's like, oh, well, Stella really helped me out. She worked with magic, and I was able to sit there and get some more PT. Pretty much this thing that she kind of like, kind of bent the law for me a little bit. Now, the first time that he said that, I kind of just ignored it, like, okay, it's a one-off sort of thing. I mean, yeah, it's possible that Drew could sit there and use that to um, try to get Curtis to do whatever he wants. Even if Portia goes to the cops, it's like, okay, cool. Your wife's career is over, but that doesn't have anything to do with your aunt. He could. I guess we'll wait and see. Um, Brooklyn apologizes to Sonny about the whole Rocco thing. Um, him finding out about Britt and everything, and so he's like, hey, listen, Rocco's fine. And, Brooklyn's relieved. Brooklyn's like, yeah, I know he said thank you to me, but I thought he was just in there trying to placate me. And, she does sit there and swear up and down, hey, listen, it was an accident. I intended on doing, but I backed out of it and I didn't do it. But at first she's like, I just, you can let me have, you can yell at me and everything like that of, him finding out the truth and stuff. And I'm like, listen, Sonny is not the person. Sonny is not really the person you should be apologizing to. I get it. You can't apologize to Lulu because, I mean, she's just going to be her usual obnoxious self. But the person you really probably need to be apologizing to still is Dante, not necessarily Sonny. So I didn't really understand why she called her over why she called him over just to apologize. I'm like, he's not the person that is, that's owed the apology. Talks about the whole Geo thing and about how they decided not to tell on themselves with the cops and everything. And Sonya apologized, say, "Hey, listen, we'll never try to put your business in danger." They hug, huge family. I was gonna sit there and say Family Matters, but more like Full House moments. Um, it was an interesting show back in the day. Not Full House. I'm talking about Family Matters. So Rick is at the hospital and is getting character witnesses for Willow to, when she goes back to the judge and everything like that, that she could, have a little more ammunition to sit there and fight, to sit there and get visitation rights. And, Liz is really impressed. The amount of work he's doing, the fact that he's doing it for free and everything like that. So they're talking, they're laughing. Ava sees that she is not happy, right? She ain't happy. At some point, she walks in the middle of the conversation and makes up some sort of excuse to get Liz away from Rick. And it's like, Rick is like, oh, I missed you. And he was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. And of course, Rick is like, oh, well, I'm not the person that's that they're harboring the doctor, whatever, in the next room or something like that. So he was like, hey, listen, I'm going to go to the pool. You want to sit there and join me? And Rick is like, I got a lot of prep work to do for Willow's case. Bro, you could have made time. You could have made time to sit there and spend time with her, but you didn't. And so at that point, Liz comes back, and when they're about to kiss, Liz comes back, and they start talking again. So Ava's like, okay, cool. So she sits there and texts Cody to meet her by the pool, right? And At some point she does her little seduction thing or whatever. They start kissing. Christina sees it. See, and I'm telling the story in kind of out of order, right? So Christina is with Alexis, and Alexis is like, listen, your plan is actually working. Tells her about the whole deal with Ava, one more payment, get the evidence, and be done, right? And Christina feels kind of bad because she feels that Cody actually really liked Molly, and wants to sit there and see where it's gonna go. So they're talking, right? And Molly gets there, and at some point, Alexis wants to spend more time with Scout. Has this plan or whatever, but it involves a little groveling. She says, she's like, I don't want to sit there and do it in front of you. So Christina's like, how about we go to the pool and just kind of hang out? Well, she gets to the pool first and she sees Cody and Ava making out. So she makes up some sort of excuse talking about a bunch of rowdy teenagers. Let's go somewhere else. So Alexis um, goes to Drew and tells Martin, hey, could you give us a minute? Alexis wants to sit there and spend some time with Scout, wants to take her to the ballet in New York. But Drew's like, listen, we can't do it that weekend because I'm taking her to go see schools in DC when we move. I'm like, bro, did you not just hear what Alexis said about you moving away from the family, away from the people that she knows she loves, her home and everything like that? It's like, this is what one person could sit there and say, Sam will be turning over in her grave, you know? Because it's like you're not doing what's best for your child. Like, bro, you could sit there and go back and forth from Port Charles to DC or whatever. You can make that ish work, right? But you want to sit there and get away from the haters, and more importantly, you want to sit there and get Willow away from the people that love her and care about her. You want to sit there and flee with Willow, and you don't give a damn about what Scout needs. Um, Now Rick hires Marty to represent him and try to separate their business partnership. And the thing is, he wants Martin to sit there and do it like quietly and discreetly, like at the last minute or whatever. And I'm just like, bro, aren't you a lawyer? And by all rights, aren't you a better lawyer than Martin? So like what? It's like why do you need his help to do something that you can do? I don't I don't get that. Like what's the difference if he does all this stuff if he has Martin does this? I don't get that. Also, listen, Rick really wants Liz. He's not there talking about, oh, I generally dislike Summer. I really do. Um, Oh yeah, Rick was sitting there talking about funding her art career, whatever, talking about traveling and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, you really need to sit there and slow down. But even Stella was like, because Stella and Liz was having a conversation about Rick and how Rick is sitting there doing all this stuff and just being really amazing. And Liz is like, listen, he has done some very dumpster fire kind of things, but he still does have a good heart. And she's like, that's the reason why I never fully closed the door. I don't know. I just feel like this whole, let's be friends and she so called established her boundaries. I'm like, you know damn well that he wants something more than what you want, right? And I guess right now, they kind of have to sit there and somewhat work together since Liz isn't they kind of helping Willow out and Rick isn't there being like a lawyer for her and everything. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like she's not doing a good enough job as far as being like, hey, listen, Yeah, she has said that multiple times, and he has said and said, "Oh, it's cool. It's totally fine with Snit being friends." But come on, ladies, let's just be real for a hot minute, right? How often does that actually work? I mean, it's like seriously, if you tell a guy, "Hey, listen, I just want to be friends," and the guy's like, "Hey, it's okay, that's cool," you know damn well that they want to be more than friends. Like, you know damn well that they want to be more than friends. Just cut that shit off right then and there. Um, God damn, I feel like there's so much more. Or maybe that's about it. Oh, also Felicia sat there and asked Cody, to go to a barbecue with Mac, and Mac was throwing it. He's having everybody there, like the cops and the DA's office and everything like that. And the minute that she said the DA's office, Cody was like, "So that means Molly too. So you might as well sit there and cancel me out or whatever." And he tells Felicia that Molly's upset with her for some reason that he doesn't know. And at first, Felicia's like, "Really? Like, what did you do?" I was like, "No, I didn't actually do anything. It's just like she's just frosty as hell with me." But he's like, "Listen, it's for Mac. I'll do it. I'll suck it up." So you know damn well this barbecue that they're gonna have, and plus James from there. But this barbecue that they're gonna have is going to be awkward as all shit. Like, yeah, eventually they are gonna get together. They're gonna hook up and everything. Um, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, I think Jordan has mentioned him like once, but like it seemed like they wrote him out without writing him out. You know, and I'm just like, they took him off a contract, and then they just kind of took him off the show. But he's still there, but we don't see him. Okay. Huh. I don't know why, but it's make me think about that movie. Not another teen movie. The black guy. You remember that scene? If you remember that scene, write it down in the comment section. I feel like that's generally about it. I mean, there was like a lot of other stuff, probably a lot of other conversations that I might have missed, but that is the general gist of the episode. Now, if I missed anything, write in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video.